It took half of March until Shutterstock posted their requests, but better later than never, here we are with the shoot and sell episode of this month. Okay guys, as you are already used to, this is a monthly episode we post here in Creative Income to help you with ideas on what to work next to maximize your earnings with stock footage and stock photography, as well as all the relevant news on the microstock world. This month we have cool requests related to technology and for anyone traveling or living in the Middle East. Creative Income is the place for any creator wanting to achieve financial freedom through creative ways, especially to anyone who wants to sell photos or videos on stock agencies. And before we head to the shot list, let me pull your attention to a few things that are happening on Shutterstock and Pond5 during these days. For those of you who are students at our online course, I just uploaded 2 new lessons about how to find models to work with and how to use XPix, which is one of my favorite ways to write metadata. After this update, I will slowly increase the price of the course until I reach the desired price of $35. And before that happens, you can get the course for $17 using the link in the description. If you haven't heard about the course yet, it is a full course that I have launched in November with everything you need to know, no matter if you're starting or if you already got some experience. It works for both. And this advanced section is the one that I'm constantly updating, so if you like the idea, now is the time. Okay guys, let's go to the updates. I will start with one related to Shutterstock. It's been a while, but Shutterstock sent an email to many contributors with the subject, "You have been selected." It makes you feel special, but I actually think everybody got this or will get it at any point. For now, I will only give you a summary, but you can read the full letter using the link below. They say they have identified a new footage market where undiscovered clips can get found and sold with limited license structures for an audience of millions who have never bought traditional stock footage before. The select clips that will be part of the test have never or rarely sold and are not new to the footage side. And they will not be sold in high resolutions, and we will still get 30% of whatever Shutterstock earns with them. It is a big challenge to give my own opinion right now because I know that I'm being watched by both the experienced contributors and the ones that just got started. So please don't get offended by my opinion, it's just my own opinion. I myself started in 2012, so I haven't seen what they call the golden years, but I can imagine how it is after all the price drops and the tsunami of new contributors. But there are 2 things that call my attention on this letter. The first one makes me optimistic, but the second one not that much. The first point that gladdens me is to know that the company is doing something about those undiscovered clips, the ones that never actually got sales. And if they really use that filter of number 1, the never or rarely sold clips, and number 2, the ones that are not new to the site, and if they really limit the sales to smaller resolutions, then I do think it is a good idea to work with those. Something that you can be sure of is that the majority of your files, they will never get a single sale. It's way more likely that you're going to have a few files that are going to be the best sellers and they are going to have more frequent sales. The average that I see is that 80% of files will never get sales, never will get a single sale. Shutterstock discloses numbers of sales only, but if you go to Pond5, you'll be able to check the number of views too. And you will notice that many clips, they actually don't ever get viewed, so nobody will ever click on them. So yes, finding a use for those files is a good idea. If only we got the choice to be part or not, but that is something that I'm going to leave to the second point. However, there's no way to find out exactly what they're going to do. By the way they write it and studying the market, I would have 2 different guesses. The first one is that they're going to launch a subscription-based marketplace. This is what we see in Storyblocks and Envato Elements. Customers pay a fixed monthly fee and we will be able to download as many videos as they wish. The revenue that we contributors get in this system is going to be hard to estimate and will depend a lot on how many downloads each user made. But let's wait and see before we discuss that. My second guess of what they could be doing is a partnership with platforms like YouTube, Facebook or Vimeo. You can imagine how much they would benefit if their creators had access to a big footage library like Shutterstock does. I know this is very unlikely, but there is something about this sentence in the letter. An audience of millions who have never bought traditional stock footage before. And this other one, able to fulfill customer demand for both high-end and low-end productions. And this makes it very clear that we're not talking about ad agencies or big companies. Anyway, you can be sure that I'll keep you guys updated with whatever I learn about it. Now let's get to the second point, which is the one that gets me frustrated. This is just one more signal of how little the consideration they have for contributors. The letter says, our site functionality does not support the ability to opt out of this limited license program. And this is very frustrating because we are the owners of the content and this very same content is the core of their business. So I don't think they should simply sell it for less without our agreement. And here's where we can see that they are taking advantage of the fact that they are the biggest agency to simply make a move like this without even letting us opt out. This is something that deserves our attention, and I know I got a different opinion than most of you guys, but I would love to read your comments on this too. Now let's go to Pond5, because in the meanwhile, Pond5 is also making some changes to the contributor agreement. They sent an email to contributors inviting us to a live streaming that will happen on March 21. They will be explaining the changes, how they impact us, and answer questions live. We still have no idea of what exactly is going to happen, but just the fact that we will be allowed to make questions and they are going to be answered by the CEO live already gives it a totally different feeling when comparing to Shutterstock. So stay connected, be sure to be subscribed, activate the bell sign, and I will soon give you a summary of what has been said. And without further ado, let's go to the shot list. And as I always say, these are actual requests made by the stock agencies. So it is a good idea to work on them right now, but they don't become useless in the next month because they represent real demand of the stock customers. So you can also check the previous episodes to have more ideas if you want to. As usual, this month they are coming from Shutterstock and Pond5, but you can upload and sell them on all stock agencies that you work with. And of course, if you want to go deeper into more information, you can find it on the text article at creativeincome/March 2019. Let's start with this big opportunity to anyone living or traveling to the Middle East. And to be honest, you don't even have to be there to explore this. Shutterstock is searching for cultural and religious elements of the Middle Eastern culture. That means any inspired cuisine including falafel, shawarma and samosas, as well as people enjoying shisha. I'm sure I'm doing that wrong. You can also explore cultural and religious observances pertaining to Ramadan. As I said, you don't have to travel to explore these topics, as there is always a demand for how this culture is practiced in different places of the world. And one more personal tip, if you have the chance to travel to Qatar before the World Cup, that is going to be an awesome place to explore. Shutterstock is also requesting content related to the tech of the future. By that they mean the latest technological advancements in multiple industries. Some examples are facial recognition, video conferencing in inspirational environments, augmented reality and machine learning. And then we have a request on hiring and new jobs. That covers the recruitment process, welcoming new team members, and any kind of sign like we are hiring, we want you, or join our team. Shutterstock was very specific with these sentences, so if I were you, I would put them in the keywords. The last Shutterstock requests focus on senior citizens and the challenges that they face during this stage of life. Some ideas are seniors as couple or friends in everyday lifestyle scenarios. Also images depicting hearing aids, dentures, and memory loss conditions such as Alzheimer. Caregivers are also going to be a cool aspect to focus on. Pond5 has also 3 requests and there are keyword suggestions and extra tips for all of them, so you can find them once again in the text article. And the first of them is camping, especially camping in couples. That would be a couple putting up a tent, sitting by a fire, talking or eating. You can also explore scenes like hiking, relaxing, and activities like canoeing, surfing, etc. Portraits will also work well, actually in all of these categories. And next we have bullying. This is a subject that has a high demand but is still badly explored. Most of the current content exaggerates too much and it might be a good idea to be careful with that. Some ideas are a group of youths bullying another youth, leaving someone out, hitting or pinching, breaking another's possessions, rude gestures, and even spitting. It is a hard subject to work with and I would love to see what solutions you guys found to do this. And finally, cafe culture, which is the paradise for freelancers. Some ideas are someone making coffee, handing it to a customer handing the credit card, someone sipping coffee while working on a laptop, tablet or phone, or reading a book or magazine. Portraits will also be a good idea in this case. And as I already said, for this Pond5 request you can find extra tips and keywords at the text article at creativeincome/March 2019. Alright guys, thanks for watching one more episode. And before we go, I want to invite you to enter in our Facebook group, Stock Creators. I think this is the best way to learn in community and to be up to date with all that is going on. Also, don't forget to check out the online course and get the discounted price while there is time. I see you on the next days with, I hope, good updates on what Font5 and Shutterstock are doing.